Good morning, 4C. Mr. Burns here with your English lesson for this week. Now, you're doing week 3 in your first booklet. Now, the activities you're doing today is looking at adding direct speech, and it's a writing activity. Now, you can do this over a couple of days. So it says, number 1, choose an outline of an interaction between characters. So in other words, these characters are going to be talking to each other. You have a lion and a fox arguing over who was smarter, 2 sisters fighting over pieces of gold given to them by a kind landlord, parrots deciding to hide food from other parrots, and so on. So you need to rewrite and expand on the interaction between characters and include some direct speech. Now make sure you add some of the following. So you need to have quotation marks, some character names, and some language features. And I'm going to go over all of that with you right now. Now, I have up on the board a piece of text. What I'm going to be writing about is a crocodile said to a cat that he would take her on his back across the creek. The cat didn't believe him. Well, that's not very interesting, not very exciting, and it doesn't tell us a lot about any of the characters there either. So I want to make this piece of writing a little bit more interesting and a little bit more exciting. So what I'm going to do is, how do I make my writing more interesting? Well, I'm going to give the characters names. So they need to have a name. I'm going to use some noun groups. I'm going to add some phrases or clauses about characters and places, such as with or in. And I'm going to use some direct speech. Now, the name I'm going to come up with for the crocodile, I'm just going to call him Mr. Croc, and I'm going to use a noun group here, and I'm going to call him the wily old Mr. Croc. So that tells me 2 things about Mr. Croc. He's wily, which means he's sneaky, cunning, clever, and he's old as well. Okay, so straight away there, I know a bit more about Mr. Croc. Now, I'm going to add some direct speech. What might he say to the cat? Well, he might say something like this. Now, why don't you let me carry you across the creek? And he might say, I know you don't like to get your beautiful fur all wet. Okay, so that's what he might say. Now, notice with direct speech, we start with what we call 66 and then we end with 99. So that's exactly what Mr. Croc, old wily Mr. Croc is going to say, these 2 parts here. Now, I need to put in here a speaking verb. So, now why don't you let me carry you across the creek? Asked wily old Mr. Croc in his sweetest voice. I know you don't like to get your fur all wet, okay? So you need to have that speaking verb and tell me who's actually saying, who's actually talking there, okay? So that's a bit more interesting. Now let's look at the cat. Let's give cat a name. It's called the cat, Fluffy the cat. Now, let's have some speaking verbs here, or some direct speech. Now, how might the cat reply? Do you really expect me to believe you, Mr. Croc? I would be very stupid if I thought you would get me there safely. You would eat me as soon as we set off. Now, we might say something like, Fluffy the cat replied, do you really expect me to believe you, Mr. Croc? I would be very stupid if I thought you would get me there safely. You would eat me as soon as we set off. Now, because this is not the beginning of a sentence, we need to give that do there a little deep. Now, we're going to put it all together. So I'll put in, there's my name of my character. There's my speaking verb telling me who is speaking. Now, if I go down here, let's put it all together. So if I put it all together, now why don't you let me carry you across the creek? Asked wily old Mr. Croc in his sweetest voice. I know you don't like to get your beautiful fur all wet. Fluffy the cat replied. Do you really expect me to believe you, Mr. Croc? I would be very stupid if I thought you would get me there safely. You would eat me as soon as we set off. And there we have it. That's a lot more interesting than what we had at the start. Just by adding some direct speech, tells us about the characters, gives us a bit more information and makes it far more interesting as to what we're doing. So that's what you're going to be doing in one of those interactions. Now notice, when we have a new character like, so I've got here, wily old Mr. Croc is talking. When a new character comes to talk, like here, Fluffy the cat, we go to the next line. Okay, notice I didn't start Fluffy up here. Fluffy, when she starts to talk, goes on a new line. Not a new paragraph, but a new line. It just makes it easy to understand who's actually talking like that. Okay? So that's what you need to do in your English today. Have a go at it. See if you can make up a bit of a story between these characters. And this is where we're leading to in our English assessment, that you need to make a story, a traditional story, with a moral, and it has to have some sort of direct speech with characters as well. So have fun. Any questions, let me know. Hopefully this helps. Have a great day. 4C.